A stone may not fall a giant. A pebble may not fall a giant. Ordinary banana peel can floor and fall a giant. Whatever it is you are struggling with in life, you refuse to handle it, you refuse to confront it, it will confront you headlong. Weaknesses are not supposed to be pampered. Weaknesses are not supposed to be allowed. It's like having hit your leg on something, or you step on a nail and you refuse to treat it. It can turn to cancer. It can turn to ulcer. It can be infected that leg will be amputated. That is how dangerous it is to overlook your weaknesses, not addressing it, taking it for granted, and telling yourself it doesn't matter. In the name of it does not matter, a lot of people have lost great opportunities. They've lost purpose. They've lost destinies. They took things for granted. Everybody has a weakness. Everybody has what they are struggling with. But if you are going to be great in this life, you must address your weaknesses. You must be intentional about it. You must be deliberate about it. Because anything that destroys a giant climbs up with him. Whatever it is now, as I'm talking and you are hearing me, and you know that people around you, they've complained about it. You get angry easily. You are very rude. You are very nasty. You don't have manners. You are this, you are that. Your husband has complained. You are too stubborn. You are too heady. Your wife has complained. Nobody can talk to you. You are the principality and the power of your life. You are all by yourself. Everything is clear that is wrong. It is obvious that you are not making progress. You are on a spot and yet you are not listening. Very soon, you will wake up and realize your life is half spent before you discover that you have missed it by being rigid. Rigidity is an energy of a fool. Standing on your point on what is not standing is an abomination. Giving alibi, excuses for your weaknesses is a time bomb. Is a poison that has the capacity to end your life and take you to an early grave. Don't take anything for granted, especially your weaknesses. One thing I know is clear. Self-deception is demonic. You cannot continue to deceive yourself. I know a lot of people lie to themselves. We call it denial in therapy because denial is a way you pretend as if everything is fine. But right on the inside of you, you know it is not fine. You know you are not good. You know masturbation is eating you up. Visiting prostitutes is eating you up. Bitterness is eating you up. Anger is eating you up. Hatred is eating you up. You are so angry that when you hear the voice of the person that has offended you, you feel like throwing up. You are hurting. You are shaking. And you think you can be free by yourself. It is impossible. Impossible plus cannot equals impossible. There are things that you go through in life that you cannot save yourself. You need help. You need intervention. You need counsel. You need therapy. Don't leave it unhandled or unattended to. If you leave it like that, it's an accident that is about to happen. It's a time bomb. There is nobody that is exposed today in their weaknesses that they have not pointed it to them or they have not realized it themselves. And that's why I'm a sexual addiction therapist. I help people to break free from a particular pattern in their lives that has become their second nature. I've broken addiction down. What is addiction? Addiction is a man forming a habit, and that habit has now formed the man. Meaning that lifestyle has become your second nature. If you are like that and you are hearing me now, send me a DM. Send me a text message and ask for help. Help is available. God has given us everything that pertains to life and godliness. This life can be lived peacefully, nicely, clean, without any spot, if you will seek help. I've seen a lot of people that have lost their destiny, lost their jobs, great opportunities, because they took their weaknesses for granted and they are now grounded. Let me give you a practical example. True life story. There was this man, he wanted a new staff, a general manager in his office. And the MD said he's the one that would do the interview himself. And they pushed the advert out there. Everybody was, asking for that job opportunity. At the end of the day, they got about 10 of them to be interviewed. And the GM said, I'm doing the interview myself. So there was this man. The GM spotted him and said, this guy is my guy. But they still have to go through a lot of anonymous interview, not knowing who was interviewing them and what this man wore. He just wore one funny clothes. He didn't look like it. He didn't look like someone that is the CEO or something. And he started interviewing them. So it's time for them to go for breakfast. Now, they have to pay. As they go to the restaurant, they have to pay. So the CEO sat, of course, he has bought his own. They didn't know it was the CEO. They thought it was the person that is, that is part of the people that came to look for the job. He just observing. His job was to observe and know the best person that will suit that position. Before he knew it, guess what? They lined up to take breakfast and they have to pay for this small margarine, small butter. Let me put it that way. They need to pay for it. So the man went on the line, took the bread, took other thing, and took those small butter, margarine, put it in his pocket. So he got to the till. He did not pay for those 2 pieces. That margarine, maybe it's like 50 naira or 100 naira. He didn't pay. That was the end of his great opportunity. They were to pay him in dollars. He lost that opportunity. Why? A weakness you don't deal with will deal with you. Okay, sorry, ètò. Orúkọ mi ni Olufunke Adetuberu. Shematters ní program. Mo ń bá wa sọ̀rọ̀ wípé àwọn nǹkan tó bá wà láyé wa tí a ò bá tètè mójútó, ó máa ba ayé wa jẹ́ ni o. Igi ńlá lè má gbé òmíràn ṣubú. Nǹkan téèyàn fẹsẹ̀ kọ́ lè má gbé òmíràn ṣubú. Ṣùgbọ́n èpo ọ̀gẹ̀dẹ̀ ó máa ń jẹ́ kí òmíràn ṣubú ni. Àwọn nǹkan kan tó bá ti wà láyé wa tí ò ní jẹ́ ká débi gíga, tó máa ba ògo àti ọjọ́ ọ̀la wa jẹ́, ó yẹ ká tètè mójútó. Ká bá àwọn tó máa ń ràn yàn lọ́wọ́ láti bọ́ nínú àwọn ìwà tó ti di mọ́líkì, tó ti di bárakú, tá à ń pè ní addiction. Ká tètè, ká sáré mójútó kó tó di wàhálà sí ayé wa. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni a ṣe máa ń ṣe tí a bá fẹ́ débi gíga. Kò sẹ́ni tí ò lábàwọ́n, kò sẹ́ni tó pé. Ṣùgbọ́n tó bá ti mọ̀ pé níbi tó ń lọ tó ga gegere, òkè ńláńlá, kó tó di wàhálà sí ẹ lọ́rùn, tètè yan dànù, tètè fi dànù, tètè gbà dànù. Torí pé kí ni? Alábọ̀rùn tó bá ti dẹ̀wù tán, ó máa ń jáyàn bọ́ ni. Má fúnra ẹni pé bí mo ṣe rí nìyẹn, ó ti mọ́ mi lára, mo máa ń bínú gan o, mo máa ń jà gan o, mo máa ń dalẹ̀ rú gan o. Nǹkan tó máa ṣe tí ò ní jẹ́ kó dúró níbi gíga àbí tí ò ní jẹ́ kó lọ síbi gíga, gbọ́n dànù báyìí. Mo sọ ìtàn kékeré kan fún wa. Arákùnrin yẹn, wọ́n fẹ́ gbà sí ibi tó ga níbi iṣẹ́. Wọ́n dẹ̀ láti ṣe ìdánwò fún gbogbo wọn. Kò sẹ́ni tó ń gbà sí ibi iṣẹ́ tí ò ní ṣe ìdánwò. Ọ̀gá iléeṣẹ́ yẹn wá sọ wípé òun fúnra ra òun lòun fẹ́ ṣe àyẹ̀wò àti interview fún àwọn tó ń fẹ́ gbà. Ó wá múra bí ẹni tó jẹ́ pé kò ń ṣòun ni. ó fẹ́ fi ojú sùnùkùn wò kó wo ilẹ̀ bó ṣe rí kó wo gbogbo ẹ̀ kó lè mọ ẹni tó máa mú. Ó wá rí arákùnrin kan, oh my god, ọkàn ẹ̀ fà sí arákùnrin yẹn torí pé kí ni gbogbo àwọn ìbéèrè yẹn ló ń dáhùn dáadáa, ó ní gbogbo nǹkan, ó ní composition, ó ní gbogbo nǹkan téèyàn fẹ́ lè lò fún ipò yẹn. Ọ̀gá yẹn ní arákùnrin ni màá mú. Ó wá kó kán lọ jẹun àárọ̀. Ìgbà tán fẹ́ lọ jẹun àárọ̀ wọ́n láti sanwó oúnjẹ tán fẹ́ jẹ ni. Àwọn bọ́tà kéékèèké kan wà ní ibi tán ti máa jẹun yẹn tán máa tò lọ gbóúnjẹ. Wọ́n á mú bọ́tà, wọ́n á mú bread, wọ́n á mú gbogbo ẹ̀, wọ́n á lọ tò. Tán bá wá ti lọ tò, wọ́n á sanwó àwọn nǹkan tán mú yẹn, wọ́n á wá lọ jókòó, wọ́n á jẹ. Ọ̀gá ẹ̀ ṣáà ń wò ó, ṣáà ń wolẹ̀, ó ń wolẹ̀. Ló bá rí i pé arákùnrin tó fojú sọ yẹn ó ti mú bọ́tà méjì sápò. Ó wá débi tán ti máa sanwó, kò sanwó. Ìgbà tí ò sanwó, bó ṣe jákulẹ̀ nìyẹn. Kò sí nǹkan tó máa ń gbé òmíràn ṣubú tí ò kí ń gòkè pẹ̀lú ẹ̀. Tó bá ti rí wípé àwọn ìwà kan ti di mọ́líkì, ó ṣòro fún ẹ láti bọ́ ńbẹ̀. Tètè pariwo síta kó o ṣe àtúnṣe, kó o wá àwọn agbaninímọ̀ràn àti àwọn tó máa ń ràn yàn lọ́wọ́ láti kúrò nínú ìwà tí ò dáa téèyàn ń wù, kéèyàn lè tètè bọ́ ńbẹ̀. Bí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́. My name is Olufunke Adetuberu. This is Shematters on Fresh FM 107.9 Abeokuta. On behalf of Dr. Yinka Olufunke, the visionary leader of Fresh FM Nigeria, I celebrate all our listeners on Fresh FM 107.9 Abeokuta. When I was talking about anything you don't handle well will handle you, it took me to our last episode on Shematters. Don't forget I brought a guest to the house. Of course, no name, no face, no identity. Bringing out the picture of Dr. Moses Daudu, who is a medical doctor in University Teaching Hospital in Ibadan, who drugged, injected her patients and raped her. This man went to medical school, spent nothing less than 7 years minus NYSC to become a medical doctor. But because he could not handle what is dealing with him, he could not deal with his addiction, today you will listen to the conversation. If you did follow us last week, follow me on Instagram. My handle is Olufunke Adetuberu, or my Facebook or Fresh FM Ibadan, because I told us last week that Dr. Yinka Olufunke brought this case up on Opeyemi also, Fresh FM Ibadan. It's a global case for the world to know, for the world to also see that wickedness operates in life. Unfortunately for this person, he did not know that when he had to be confronted by his colleague in the hospital, the lady that was raped had the recording. Every day is for the thief, one day is for the owner. You will listen to this conversation. Of course, I'm going to bring my guest in to start explaining practically who is talking, whose voice is this, what was the conversation about. I'm not going to talk much. Mo kí yín káàbọ̀ pé mo sọ tẹ́lẹ̀ ńgbà tí mo kọ́kọ́ máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ wípé nǹkan tí èèyàn bá ń ṣe tí ò dáa, wọ́n ní tára léèyàn bá ń jẹ kòkòrò, hunrunhunrun ẹ̀ kò ní jẹ́ káwọn yòókù sùn tán bá tètè sọ fún pé kòkòrò tó ń jẹ yẹn kò dáa. Mo sọ fún wa láti ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ ètò wípé tí a bá ní àwọn ìwà kan tí ò dáa, tí gbogbo èèyàn ti sọ, ẹbí ti sọ, ará ti sọ, ọkọ ti sọ, ìyàwó ti sọ, bàbá ti sọ, màmá ti sọ, ẹ gbọ́, ibi tó máa ń já sí leléyìí. Ní ìjẹjọ mo gbé àlejò mi wá, no name, no face, no identity, láti wá sọ ìrírí ayé ẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ Dr. Daudu Moses tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ ní UCH nílùú Ìbàdàn Teaching Hospital Emergency Department ló ti ń ṣiṣẹ́, tí ó fi ipá bá ẹni tó yẹ kó jẹ́ ẹni tó yẹ kó tọ́jú wò, ó wá kan lẹ́yìn, ó fún ní àwọn egbògi injection àti oògùn olóró láti jẹ́ kó sùn kó lè bá ṣe àjọṣepọ̀ tó lòdì sí òfin pé èèyàn lọ sí ilé ìwé láti kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ bí a ṣe ń tọ́jú èèyàn. Nǹkan tó wá ká mi lára ni wípé ó ti fi gbogbo ọjọ́ ayé ẹ̀ kàwé. Bàbá ẹ̀ àti màmá ẹ̀ á sọ pé ọmọ mi dókítà lọmọ mi ọkùnrin dókítà. Ó ti parí iṣẹ́ sórí àléébù weaknesses tí ò mójútó. Ó ti parí ìrìn àjò ẹ̀kọ́ ẹ̀ síbi tí ò ṣe. Mo gbé àlejò mi padà wá lénìí. Yorùbá ní ẹni oníkàn láti ń gbọ́ pọ̀n. Ṣé pọ̀n ni? Ẹ má wọ̀rí, ẹ má bínú sí mi. Àti bí ó sọ àwọn kankan níjẹ̀jọ́. Mo wá sọ fún yín pé arákùnrin yóò mọ̀ wípé gbogbo nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní ibi iṣẹ́, ibi tó ti sọ fún ọkùnrin pé báwo ló ṣe máa fúnyàn lógún báyìí, báwo ló ṣe máa ṣe báyìí fún èèyàn yẹn, kò mọ̀ pé ó ti gba fọ́nrán ẹ̀ sílẹ̀. Kò yé. Mo wá dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run fún ọmọ yẹn pé tó tiẹ̀ fi lè ronú pé ó ń déwájú ó ń dẹjọ́, ó ń dẹ́yìn ò dasọ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n tiẹ̀ ní rẹ́kọ̀dì pé at least ó ti bá mi lò pọ̀, ó ti ṣe nǹkan tó yẹ kó ṣe. Kò sí evidence, kò sí pé Ọlọ́run nìkan ló ráàárín yẹn. Ọlọ́run dẹ̀ máa ń pẹ́ kó tó dáhùn. Ẹ jẹ́ kémi náà tiẹ̀ ní pé nǹkan báyìí ló sọ. Arákùnrin ó fi ẹnu ara ẹ̀ jẹ́wọ́ nǹkan tó ṣe. Ẹ máa gbọ́ nínú fọ́nrán tí a fẹ́ tó gbà sílẹ̀. Èmi kọ́ ni màá ṣe gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn o. Yorùbá ní ẹnu oníkàn láti ń gbọ́ pọ̀n. Tó bá ti ń sọ lọ́wọ́ báyìí, wọ́n á máa ṣàlàyé fún wa nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ńjọ́ yẹn àti àwọn nǹkan tí àwọn èèyàn ń sọ. Ẹ mọ̀ pé mi ò sí ńbẹ̀, ṣùgbọ́n rẹ́kọ̀dì kò kí ń parọ́. Ohùn èèyàn náà kò dẹ̀ kí ń parọ́. So a máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní gbọ́. Tá bá ti ń gbọ́, a máa dúró. Guest mi á ṣàlàyé nǹkan tí àárín yẹn jẹ́. Tó bá ṣe pé kí n wọnú ọ̀rọ̀ wa, màá wọnú ẹ̀ lọ. Tí ò bá necessary, màá dákẹ́. I'm going to bring in my guest to start analyzing that audio. She was the one that was there, and the best decision she ever made in her life was to have this recording. If she had not recorded it, there was no evidence that she was sexually molested. There was no evidence that she was raped. There was no physical evidence that she was given injection and drugs that was going to make the man to be able to sexually assault her like that. But thank God for records. The man cannot deny his voice. His voice is there, clear as crystal. Now, let's listen to the first part of the voice note. We cannot bring everything out. It's 1 hour recording. We just brought out like 10-15 minutes. We are going to break it down, and I'll be asking her questions, and we'll take it off from there. Yes, let's listen to the first part of the recording.
The first day, it was Pentalosin and Dapifenol. Gave her the tablet, which was the combination of tramadol and paracetamol. I wrote ibuprofen, muscle relaxant, amitriptyline.
I'm sure you have listened to some of the things that is being recorded from the interrogation that she had at PEFA, where they treat HIV. Normally, when you are raped like that, or there's any record of rape, the person in question will go to the hospital to check if she's HIV positive and all of that. So on getting there, she had to, please, my guest, let me not do all the talking. Welcome. Please explain this part of this conversation. Where did you get this information? What happened? Who is talking? Who is asking questions? Go ahead. Let me hear from you before I come in again.
The conversation happened at PEFA, where I went to conduct the HIV status. So after the incident, I went to PEFA to check my HIV status. I connected with someone and they took me there. So on getting there, they gave me contraceptives, and because I reported the case, I told them what happened. So they gave me contraceptive and they gave me the treatment. So I reported the case, and after that, I mentioned his name and everything that happened. So the head of the PEFA, there was a matron there that took the case up. So she told me she was going to look for this doctor that we're talking about. So after some time, she called me that I should come for a meeting, that they had called the doctor and he said he was going to come for a meeting. So they organized a meeting for us, and she invited me over. That was where he was asked to explain what he gave to me, the prescription, the injection, and the drugs.
Primarily antidepressant, but sedative, and then also used for management of pain, headache, and all. I prescribed that as well. Then prescribed combination of trauma, that's tramadol and paracetamol. I think there's a fourth one. Then diclofenac SR, 100 milligrams daily. Yes. One NSAID, yes, one NSAID, one opioid. Then the other one is a muscle relaxant. How the intensity of the pain.
Wow, 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 wow. He actually explained the injection and the drugs and everything. Now, let's hear what was the response of people. Ẹ má jẹ́ kí n sọ gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ fẹ́ gbọ́ mi ní èdè Yorùbá, ẹ má jẹ́ kí n sọ yín nù lórí ètò. Nǹkan tí mò ń béèrè lọ́wọ́ àlejò mi ni wípé à ń gbọ́ àwọn ohùn kan tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ níbi ẹ̀yìn. Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? A ló ń sọ̀rọ̀, kí ló ti wá gbogbo àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn ó fẹ́ má yé àwa tá a sí ń bẹ̀. Náà wá ṣàlàyé wípé ìgbà tí kinní yẹn ṣẹlẹ̀ lẹ́nìkan wá sọ pé wọ́n láti lọ síbi tán ti máa ń wo àrùn ìbálòpọ̀ HIV. Wọ́n nígbà táwọn débẹ̀ ni àwọn wá ṣàlàyé pé nǹkan báyìí báyìí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ o, wọ́n fi fipá bá mi lò pọ̀ ni o, mo fẹ́ kí ẹ mọ̀ bóyá mo tiẹ̀ ti lóyún tàbí pé bóyá wọ́n ti fún mi ní àrùn ìbálòpọ̀ tó ń pè ní HIV. So ibẹ̀ yẹn ni wọ́n lọ, ni wọ́n wá ní kí wọ́n pè kán wá pé Dr. Moses Daudu pé ń gbọ́ kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀, kí ló rí lọ́bẹ̀ tó fi wá ro ọwọ́. Wọ́n ló wá sọ wípé ó ṣáà ń jẹ́wọ́ ṣá pé lóòótọ́ ó ń dárúkọ àwọn oògùn àti abẹ́rẹ́ olóró tí ẹ máa gbọ́ díẹ̀ lára àwọn nǹkan tí àwọn èèyàn yẹn máa sọ. Mi ìfẹ́ ṣáájú ẹlẹ́ẹ̀dẹ́pẹ̀dẹ́ ni pé kí ló dé tó fún ní irú abẹ́rẹ́ báyìí ní àkókò báyìí. Wọ́n ṣáà ń bá sọ̀rọ̀ ṣá, ibẹ̀ la sọ̀rọ̀ dé, ẹ máa gbọ́ yòókù lọ. Àlejò mi sì máa continue. Mi ìfẹ́ kó jẹ́ mi mú gbogbo ẹnu sọ̀rọ̀, ṣùgbọ́n torí pé òyìnbó náà ń sọ, mi ìdẹ́ fẹ́ kí ká sọ àwa tá fẹ́ gbọ́ èdè wa ká sọ wá nù, torí ẹ̀ ni mo ṣe tún sọ̀rọ̀ díẹ̀. Go ahead, listen.
The injection that you gave, that
Yes.
there was a combination. Although you told me earlier on, the doctor was not here.
Yeah. I sent her when she was pressurizing me. I told her when I see her and I would like it for her. So she came down to see. And
Nefopam, pain and Nefopam together.
But immediately after the injection, I remember I lay down to.
Okay, bless
But we are not dating. We are not dating now. But we are not dating. We are not dating now.
What time did you leave her?
I left her 9:30 and 10.
And 10.
Yes.
You left. And you gave the injection around 8. It were to be all these law something. They will know how to, because Yoruba will say wèrè ló máa rojọ́ kìíní kan kọ́ ló máa dà. There are two ways to things, because the way you are saying it now is that you are not guilty and she consented. One, with your profession is even unethical. With the combination with
And that's why I understood that clearly.
then after that
Somebody that has been having bad pain.
Everything went as in the back pain was worse after I woke up in the morning.
It's so amazing having to have this kind of conversation with someone that refused to take responsibility. Ẹ wo bó tiẹ̀ ṣe tún wá gíw. Ẹni tó yẹ kó jókòó sílẹ̀lẹ̀ kó da ash clothes àti kó ya aṣọ ẹ̀ bí David ṣe wà confronted. I wasn't expecting this man to keep giving excuses, alibi. That's a depth of denial that is close to somebody that is living an addictive life. You know, when you look at the life of some human being, you are thinking they should be living in the world of an animal. Àwọn míì ìlú àwọn ẹranko ló yẹ kán máa gbé, wọn yẹ kán máa gbá àárín èèyàn. Nígbà tí èèyàn ṣerú nǹkan tó burú tó lè, wá ẹ má jẹ́ kó jẹ́ mi máa sọ̀rọ̀ lọ. I want my guests to explain this conversation in detail to us, especially when the matron or anybody, I don't know the person, imagine for us, selenu loro, and to loro wambi. Yes, go ahead and explain this conversation, explain it to us.
The meeting is all about them asking him what he gave to me. So we have a matron there, a matron from PEFA. We have another doctor. We have a pharmacist. Then my brother, he was the one explaining that he was with me on that day, that Saturday before he came back. He came to my side. My brother came to my side that day, and we were together for like 2 hours before he left my place. So it was after then the doctor arrived. So those were the things they were explaining in the meeting.
There's something I observed about this conversation. It was like you were laying emphasis on the fact that you are not dating, you are not dating. And he's still not agreeing. Ṣé, hey, Kini, did you sense anything about him before you got into this act of calling him to help you treat you for injection? Did you notice anything about him before? I need to understand that area.
I invited him over as a doctor. I said I tried up my best to get healed from other hospital that I went to, but it wasn't working. We were friends, and it was just a mere friends that we talk on phone, WhatsApp friends. The friendship was not that really close. So it was when I was having that problem, that leg pains, that I called him, that I explained to him that I was having the pain, and that was why he didn't know my house. That was why I gave him the description, and that was why he came over. So in my mind, I don't even expect something like that because we are not dating, and that was why I was hammering it that day. I know we were not dating, and he did not even deny it that we were not dating, because at that time we were not dating. There was no conversation before the injection. There was nothing, and that was why I was so furious about everything. That how would you just come like that and just inject me and have sex with me, and you are telling me that even to my face that I agree? How would that be possible?
Now ẹ jẹ́ kí n sáré sọ nǹkan tí àlejò mi ń sọ ni pé ìgbà tí wọ́n ń béèrè lọ́wọ́ wọn wípé àwọn oògùn tán fún wọn, mo ṣáà rí wípé arákùnrin yìí ṣì ń ṣe fatafata, ó ṣì ń sọ pé kìnnìkan ọ̀ǹtì tó wá fẹnu ara ẹ̀ jẹ́wọ́ pé irú àwọn oògùn báyìí báyìí àti abẹ́rẹ́ báyìí báyìí ló fún wọn. Èmi wá ń béèrè pé tí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí fi lè le tó lè, ṣé ẹ ti jọ ń ṣeré ìfẹ́ ni? Wọ́n á ní rárá o, pé àwọn ò jọ ṣeré ìfẹ́ rí o, pé bí ìgbà tí ọ̀rẹ́ àdúgbò, dókítà àdúgbò látòrí WhatsApp pé ká kàn sọ̀rọ̀. Nígbà tó dẹ̀ ti ní pé gbogbo oògùn téèyàn lò tí ò ṣiṣẹ́, téèyàn dẹ̀ rántí pé dókítà kan wà níbì kan, ẹ jẹ́ kí n pè nǹkan tó fi di wípé ó pe dókítà nìyẹn, pé kò sí ọ̀rọ̀ ìfẹ́ nínú àárín àwọn méjèèjì. Torí ẹ̀ ló ṣàṣe ń tẹnumọ́ pé àṣọ̀rẹ́ ìfẹ́, àṣọ̀rẹ́ ìfẹ́, àbára wa ṣọ̀rẹ́ ìfẹ́. Kí wá ló lè fà á tí irú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn fi máa ṣẹlẹ̀? Well, I'm just interpreting what she said. Now, I need to take my guest to another level. Now, when the conversation was going on, did he ever apologize? How did he come about? Because Mungbo, sorry, all our listeners should understand that we can't play the whole recording because of time. If you are going to play it, it means that for the whole Shematters, that's what we're going to play. And we don't have the luxury of that time. So that's why I want her to explain to us, as the person that is a victim, when exactly did he agree? I remember he said, we'll play it for you to hear. He agreed that he had sex with her. He agreed that he gave her some injections. We're still going to play that. But I want her to explain to us the picture of when he was confronted, how he was able to finally agree. Please explain to us. I need to hear that.
I told you that immediately I woke up, I called him and we had a conversation. But because he has a strong mind, he was not really like saying sorry from the beginning. So he was telling me that what happened. He was trying to deny that. What are you talking about? I don't understand. And I'm like, I'm not a small kid. You had sex with me, and I'm feeling. I know. Even though, okay, I was asking what happened. I didn't know what happened, but I know that something happened. You had sex with me, and I could remember that there was no conversation. So how could you just give me an injection like that, and you expect? Those are the things that I used to tackle him. That was why he couldn't, because he still forgot his the syringe. So I used the syringe to threaten him that if you don't tell me the truth now. I will explain everything that happened to people, and your syringe is here. And that was why he was able to say, okay, sorry, I know we did something, but just let's talk about it. We need to talk one on one. You don't need to call
Please
anybody.
hold on. You mean when you called him immediately, he was still reacting?
And he was still
So you now
denying.
told him that you have the syringe at
Yeah,
home, that you are going
yeah.
to use the syringe against him.
He was
Now,
still
no,
denying.
apart from that day, when this conversation was going on in PEFA, where you went to do a test, I observed that he was still arguing. You listen to it yourself later. That one woman was saying, if the lawyer have this information, is you and the court and everything, that they are going to bring a pharmacist. Still in that conversation, if we don't have it here, just follow up the case. That case is not Oyo State case. It's not Nigerian's case. It's the world case. Wherever this guy is in this world, on this earth, except he's not more on the earth, that is where we are not going to bring him to book. But my question now is, after they got to PEFA, when you were discussing the whole thing that happened and all of that, why would they start explaining to him that this medication you gave, you don't even give a patient in the night? Why are they taking so much time to explain to him before he agree? I want us to just paint the picture of that day to me for the records. Thank you.
Okay, that day he was still arguing with them that he didn't force me, that he didn't, even though they were telling him about the drugs he gave to me, that is enough to knock anybody off. He was still trying to argue with them that it wasn't a rape, that I agree. That was why I was trying to talk at the top of my voice, that how would you inject me and tell me that I agreed just like that? And still he was still not apologizing. He was just telling them that he was sorry that he came over to help me out, that like he was sorry that he came at that time. How about what you did? Talk about what you did. To what you did, what you did, is it a good things or not? It was just the way I see him is that I don't know why is that bold, and he has the kind of confidence that I think that maybe he's thinking that there's nothing I would do or something, because those were the things he was saying. That, well, immediately he told me to name my price, that he will pay for hospital bills and all. So I know that he doesn't have a conscience or something. I don't really understand the kind
So
of
he
person
actually
he is.
told you that he was going to pay hospital bill, that you should let them settle.
He said that even at that meeting, he said we should tell him the price, the hospital bill, that we'll pay for it. That will pay for it. He doesn't want to be get punished or something. That was why he was trying to weave the responsibility.
God, I want to get the UCH involved now. When you got to UCH and you discussed with the people there, did you take any legal or law or legal or police investigation? Did you? I want you to tell us that story of what happened. Do you have a lawyer? Did they do any investigation? Did they invite him? Tell us the attitude of the UCH, University Teaching Hospital, about the whole thing. Say it clearly for people to hear.
I said we went to PEFA, not inside UCH.
Okay.
So
PEFA is the
PEFA,
place where
I
they
rep-
check people
eh,
for HIV.
so I reported the case there, and they asked me that day that what do I want to do. But at that day I was in a serious trauma, so I couldn't do anything much. I was in pain, coupled with the drug, the way the drug was reacting in my body. I just told them that I will come back, that I can't do anything for now. That was what I told them before they now organized the meeting. And after the meeting, I didn't hear anything from them even up to there.
Well, is he still in UCH?
They said he had resigned. He resigned earlier this year, I think February, when my lawyer wrote a petition and submitted it there. So it was after then that they said he had resigned or something.
Wow. I want to let everybody know that when we are dealing with issues like this, we are dealing with it because we want people to learn. Number two, if you are hearing me from any part of the world and the name Moses Daudu, doctor, occurred to you in any way, probably he has sexually molested anybody and you have kept it, because I'm very sure this is not the first case, this is not the second case, not the third case You know why? Because I'm a counselor and I'm a therapist and I deal with addiction, I know he must have been doing it, or probably some people have become the victim of his acting out, which he might be keeping covert, and he would not want anybody to get involved or to keep it because they don't have strength. Now, the reason why he felt he could get away with this lady's case is because he must have felt kò séèyàn kankan. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n sọ Yorùbá kí n lè jẹ́ káwọn tó ń gbọ́ mi kán lè máa gbọ́ mi pọ̀, kán lè gbọ́ mi délẹ̀. Ìgbà tí ó lọ sí hospital tí wọ́n lọ ṣàlàyé gbogbo nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀, nǹkan kan ṣoṣo tó ṣe tó dùn mí jù ni pé kò gbà wípé nǹkan tóun ṣe ò dáa àfìgbà tí nígbà tárábìnrin yìí pé kí ló ṣe fún mi, mo wà ń hòhò, gbogbo ajú ara ń dùn mí, kí ló ṣe fún mi gangan, kò dáhùn. Ó ṣáà ń sọ pé kí ló wà ń bẹ̀, òun ò ṣe nǹkan kan, a jọ ṣe papọ̀ ni. Òun wá sọ pé wò ó máa pariwo síta, abẹ́rẹ́ tó fi gún mi òun ló wà lọ́wọ́ mi tí mo ti tọ́jú yìí, ló ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wà ń bẹ̀bẹ̀. Ìgbà tó tún dé ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn ọ̀gá ibi tí wọ́n ti lọ ṣe àrùn, bóyá ó ní àrùn ìbálòpọ̀ tó ń pè ní HIV. Ìgbà tó tún débẹ̀, instead kó kàn tiẹ̀ lè tún sọ pé òun jẹ̀bi, ó wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní jiyàn. Ìyàn yẹn ló wá bá wọn débi pé òkè, tó bá tẹ̀ jẹ́ pé o ò bá ṣe nǹkan kan pọ̀, àwọn oògùn tó dárúkọ pé o fún yìí, tó dẹ̀ gbà pé o fún yìí, ṣé wọ́n máa ń fún irú èèyàn ní oògùn yẹn lálẹ́? Ipò ó against pé kéèyàn lóògùn irú oògùn yẹn lálẹ́, àkọ́kọ́ nìyẹn. Ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejì òun ni wípé nígbà tó wá fún lóògùn yẹn, ṣé bó ṣe pera ẹ ní oníṣègùn òyìnbó tó tún wá ń jiyàn fátáfátá nìkan ni wọ́n wá sọ wípé tí ó bá dé ilé ẹjọ́, èké ló máa rojọ́, ìkà kọ́ ló máa dá. Ká tiẹ̀ sọ pé kò sí ìbálòpọ̀ ń bẹ̀ rárá, wípé o fún patient nírú oògùn àti abẹ́rẹ́ tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ fúnyàn lálẹ́ tó ṣeéṣe kẹ́ni yẹn má jíjọ́ kejì, o ò lè bọ́nú ẹ̀. Ẹ wò, ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ ìyókù ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kí n tó máa round off.
They have told us a lot of things, that he went to her house and gave her associated milligram, Nephropam 20 milligram. Then the lady claimed that after the injection, she didn't know anything. Nephropam. And he now said after injecting her, he agreed that he had sex with her. And he had already queried spondylosis for her before. And now after the injection, the lady was knocked up and now had sex. And left. He got there maybe 7:45 or 8 p.m. Waited for her to eat. After eating, he gave the injection, they had sex, they left around maybe 10 p.m. or so.
Was the sex, was it mutual? Was it?
He said the lady knew, but the lady said he was not. He wasn't.
He was the one that said that I was having spondylosis because the back pain was.
So after giving you the injection, what happened? Were you conscious or reality?
I know. You know what? I can never be conscious and be allowing sex. We are not even dating.
So you may ask, do you know what was in that injection?
I don't know.
Or did you tell?
You only said it's for pain reliever.
You know, because that injection that you gave is enough to enough, especially with the addition of now that you just potentiate the effects.
The name alone will knock somebody off.
If a judge, if you take this thing to the law court, of course they are not going to listen to what you are saying, because it is you giving pentazine. She was on amitriptyline. You call a pharmacist also to be able to say that what interaction with this, and it's going to potentiate dating effect. So what the judge will have in mind is that maybe day trade,
Lots of day trade.
because day trade, it doesn't have to be any medication, it can be any sedating medication. You understand? Because from what you have just presented now, that's what the judge will say, that, or any panel, that it's intentional that you actually know what you are driving on. If I'm the judge, what I'll be thinking about is that it was premeditated. You planned it. That's the way I see it. If there were no sex now, that would have been okay to try to unfortunately.
And see, the back pain is not the front of sorry, don't tell me sorry. And the back is not new. Okay, like that.
But yeah, my own interest is just the drug that you take. I know really well the effect of those drugs, those combination drugs. And to me, pentazocine, tramadol, before Nefupan. It's not possible for somebody that was in pain to say, okay, give me consensual sex, and you are not dating. So why will she just give you consensual sex when you are not dating?
And of course, from the drugs given, now, if I give you pentazocine, I don't know whether you've taken pentazocine before, and I give you, how many tablets did you take? One, how many, that tiny tablet like this, one, how many times in a day? If I give once at night and she has already used her amitriptyline with pentazocine, it's like it's not 1 plus 1 again. 1 plus 1 is now 10. Because you know about potentiation, augmentation. That is exactly what happened. And that's what the pharmacist will say. I might not be part of that panel as a panelist, as in those that will form the panel, but the pharmacist will be there. There is a case presently involving the doctor, and he invited one of our pharmacists also. He's also on sexual harassment and rape. And the pharmacist has been invited, and the pharmacist inclusion is just to analyze the drugs used. So now, you say to look at it that why is it that the strength is like this? We have two cases now, and this one will make the third case. And he's not giving UCH a good image.
In fact, that was the reason why I'm interested. Hearing that doctor.
It was someone outside now.
One can use what you have to get what you want.
Another thing that the pharmacist will say, yes. Another thing that the pharmacist will look at is that, of course, somebody from the lab will be there. Knowing fully well the results of hepatitis and HIV, if those results were positive, would you have had sex? No. But it's also a good liver saying that, I'm clear to enter in, saying she is clean.
All the circumstances that surrounded wasn't clean at all. Everything, all the circumstances, the time you went around 7:45 in the night to a ladies' room, you waited till you finished waiting. After you agreed to, and you now said she had a bath in your presence, and after you had, it's not, I'm a human being. I'm a woman too. And I'm a mother. If I were to be, I would not even consider that you work in the same place. Honestly, this thing is involved now, is going around. It's just because she's bold to say it out.
So what I was actually after was that I want to know the injection that you do. Because we were even planning to do a forensic test. We take blood sample to ascertain the drug that's in the blood. But now saying I even thought that maybe diclofenac, but I know diclofenac cannot really sedate. But hearing this now, with Apupan naturally we also cause sedating effect. Though it's pain relief, coupled with pentazocine. Pentazocine is an opioid analgesic, I hope you know this. And it's highly sedating. Amitriptyline. Fine, all these things are used for pain, but they are not NSAIDs. They are opioid analgesics and derivatives that cause sedation, sleep. Now combining everything together, you know what that is. Because that's what they will say that is date rape. And you know what that is by the way. Even if there was no sex, giving those injections
That's how the nice.
in the night. It's not ethical. Giving those injections is not ethical.
They don't forbid bad thing. Don't forbid. After giving the injection, something else happened.
If she had passed on,
If she had passed on, you would have just escaped and nobody will. They will say, ah, she slept oh, from slept till.
because we find ourselves
in a saline client in advanced country, of course, they will get the person. Really.
the meditation, I think you think I was thinking even with the hospital settings.
It's so amazing when people refuse to deal with what is dealing with them. Can you imagine? He has built his career. He's going to lose it because he's not addressing what is addressing him. He did not kill what has been killing him silently. He refused to work on himself. If you are hearing me and you've listened to this, every addict is living on a borrowed time. It's a matter of time. If you don't deal with it, it's going to deal with you. I want you to understand something. Help is available. There is nothing that you are going through that you cannot be helped out of if you are willing. Ẹ wo arákùnrin nsìn, ó fi gbogbo ayé ẹ̀ kàwé torí kò lè di ara ẹ̀ mú, kò lè pariwo síta pé ẹ gbà mí, nǹkan kan ń ṣe mí. Ó ti di ẹni tí gbogbo ayé máa fi ṣe yẹ̀yẹ́ láìpẹ́ torí pé kí ni gbogbo ayé ló ń gbọ́ báyìí, kì í ṣèmi nìkan. Dr. Yinka Ayéfẹ́lẹ́ sọ lórí Let's Talk About It. Wọ́n sọ lórí Ọpẹ́yẹmí. Èmi ti sọ lórí Shematters. Ṣé rí pé orúkọ rere ó sàn ní yíyànjú wúrà àti fàdákà lọ. Níbi tá à ń lọ ń sìn, gbogbo àgbáyé ló máa mọ̀ pé Dr. Daudu Moses kan ó jẹ́ ẹni tó ń fipá báyàn lò pọ̀. Inú mi ò dùn sí, ṣùgbọ́n mo fẹ́ ká fi kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ wípé life is too short to be protective of your weaknesses and you are not dealing with it. I want to say a very big thank you to everyone who has listened to this program today. On behalf of Dr. Yinka Ayéfẹ́lẹ́, the CEO of Fresh FM Nigeria, if you want to ask me questions, you are bothered about something, or this man, Moses Daudu, has molested you before, send me a text. Please don't call that number. I don't pick calls. Just send me a text on 080-232-42389. 080-232-42389. Thank you once again. I'll see you next week. Thank you.